All right, so are you ready for this? Huge news just dropped in the hockey world, and we got to break it down.
I'm all ears, hit me.
We're talking about best-on-best international tournaments, and they're making a big comeback.
Well, it's about time, right? Fans have been wanting more meaningful international play for years now.
Exactly. And it seems like the NHL and the NHLPA are finally listening.
It sounds like it. So what do you have for us?
So get this. The 2028 World Cup of Hockey
Yeah.
officially happening. Announced right here in Montreal just this week.
Wow, no kidding. They're really going all in on this, huh?
Oh, yeah. And they're not messing around.
Yeah.
They're prepared to pause the entire NHL season, for like 10 to 14 days just to make room for this tournament.
Seriously. That's a massive commitment.
It is. It really shows how serious they are about this whole international hockey thing.
So where's it going to be? Any ideas?
Well, the bidding process is just opening up, but they're
Yeah.
really encouraging European cities to apply.
Interesting. So we could see a World Cup in like Stockholm or Prague.
Exactly. Can you imagine the atmosphere?
Oh man, it'd be electric. Plus, it just makes sense strategically, right? To grow the sport internationally.
For sure. So we've got the when and the where. Now for the big question. Who's playing?
Well, they've confirmed at least 8 countries will be participating, and they might even do a play-in format to decide some of the final spots.
Oh, that'd be cool. Kind of like a wild card situation.
Yeah, exactly. And to make sure the level of play is top-notch, like what fans are used to seeing, all the games will be played on NHL-sized rinks with NHL rules and officials.
Makes sense. Keep things consistent for everyone. But here's what I find really interesting about all this.
What's that?
This World Cup isn't just a one-time thing. It's part of a bigger plan for a regular schedule of international hockey.
Oh, wow. So like a set calendar.
Yeah, think about it. We have the Four Nations face-off coming up in just a few days, right? Then the Winter Olympics in 2026, and then boom, the World Cup in 2028.
So consistent international competition for like the next 5 years at least.
Exactly. This could be massive for the sport.
No doubt about it. For the players, it's a chance to represent their countries more often, and really test themselves against the best. For fans, well, more exciting hockey to watch, of course.
I'm starting to see the big picture here. This isn't just about throwing a few tournaments together.
Right. It's about building a more connected and globally competitive hockey world.
Now, Ron Hainsey, from the NHLPA, he was talking about this recently.
Oh, so I saw that, yeah.
He brought up Sidney Crosby's golden goal in 2010. You remember that?
Oh, of course. How could I forget?
It was a moment that no Canadian hockey fan will ever forget. And that's what this new plan is all about, creating more of those iconic moments.
You're right. International hockey has a way of capturing our imaginations like nothing else does. It brings people together.
You get those incredible rivalries, too. Canada versus the U.S., Sweden versus Finland.
Those games are always classic. So much history behind them.
Exactly. And now we're going to get to see them even more often.
Now, with all this excitement about the future, there's one big question that keeps coming up.
Oh, yeah. The Russia question. What happens with them?
It's complicated for sure. The NHL is basically taking a wait-and-see approach following the lead of the IOC and the IIHF.
Right. Both Bettman and Walsh have said they hope to see Russian players back on the international stage eventually.
They've acknowledged the talent of the Russian players, but obviously with the current situation, it's a delicate situation.
Yeah, we'll just have to wait and see how things unfold on that front.
Makes sense. So apart from that, what else is new?
Well, the Four Nations face-off is just days away, and fans are definitely ready for some international hockey action.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be great. The tournament's in Montreal this time around, right?
Yep. And the NHL is hoping for a respectful atmosphere during the games.
Yeah, it's good to hear, especially with the U.S. anthem. There's always that.
I know what you mean. But the Canadians had a situation earlier this season, and they asked their fans to show respect, and they actually did.
So maybe there's hope.
Fingers crossed. But anyway, back to the Four Nations face-off. The players will be getting appearance fees and some prize money.
Ah, yeah. But I bet it's nothing compared to their NHL salaries.
Nope. It really shows you how much representing their countries means to them.
Absolutely. And speaking of dedication, looks like Gary Bettman isn't going anywhere anytime soon.
I know, right? He was asked about retirement recently and basically laughed it off.
Sounds like him. He loves this job.
I think he does. And with everything that's going on in the hockey world right now, he's got a lot to keep him busy.
That's for sure. We've got a packed international calendar, upcoming CBA negotiations, and a commissioner who's not slowing down one bit.
It's an exciting time to be a hockey fan, that's for sure.
Welcome back, everyone. It's great to be diving back into this whole international hockey thing.
Before the break, we were talking about this new plan for a regular calendar of tournaments. It's a big deal for the sport, for sure. But I keep thinking about the fans, you know?
What about them?
There's just something different about these international games.
Hmm.
The connection that fans have feels deeper.
You're right. It's not just like cheering for your favorite NHL team. It goes beyond that. Exactly. It's like this next level passion.
Well, I think a lot of it has to do with national pride. You know, when you were watching Team Canada or Team USA, you're not just rooting for a bunch of players. You're rooting for your country for something bigger than yourself.
I get that. And you see that reflected in the players too, right? They just play with this different level of intensity.
Absolutely. They're
Yeah.
playing for their country, for their flag. For a lot of them, it's the biggest honor of their careers.
And for the fans, that emotion just gets amplified. It's like the whole nation comes together as one big cheering section.
Exactly. It's a shared experience. You know,
Mhm.
the camaraderie, the excitement, the heartbreak, it's all part of it.
And then you add those classic international rivalries into the mix.
Oh, yeah, those are always special. Canada versus the U.S., Sweden versus Finland.
Those are the games that you clear your schedule for. The ones you make sure you've got snacks and drinks ready because you're not moving from the couch for the next 3 hours.
And with this new international calendar, we're going to see those rivalries play out even more often, which is amazing for the fans. But it's not just about the old rivalries either, right? We could see some new ones emerge.
For sure. As the hockey landscape changes, new contenders will step up, and that's always exciting to see.
Okay, so we've got the Four Nations face-off coming up right now.
Yeah, it's the perfect warm-up for everything else that's to come.
It's a chance for fans to get their international hockey fix. And for the players, well, it's a chance to test themselves against the best.
And it's all going down in Montreal. They always have amazing hockey fans there.
Oh yeah, the Bill Center's going to be rocking.
The atmosphere is going to be electric for sure.
And we're talking about some of the biggest names in hockey here. Crosby, McDavid, Matthews, Makar. The list goes on and on.
It's a who's who of hockey superstars.
And let's not forget, they're all sacrificing their off-season time to play in this tournament.
Yeah, it shows how much representing their countries means to them.
They could be resting and relaxing on a beach somewhere, but instead they're here battling it out for their nation.
It's pretty inspiring when you think about it.
Speaking of inspiration, I don't know about you, but I still get chills when I think about Sidney Crosby scoring that golden goal in 2010.
Oh man, are you kidding me? That was one for the ages. The way he just sniped that puck past Ryan Miller in overtime.
Unbelievable. And those are the moments that we all live for as hockey fans.
They're the moments that stay with you forever. You know, the ones you tell your kids and grandkids about.
It's about those shared experiences, those unforgettable moments that transcend the game itself.
Exactly. And that's what this new era of international hockey is all about. Creating more of those memories, inspiring a new generation of fans, and growing the game on a global scale.
Okay, I'm getting pumped up just thinking about it.
Me too. And with the Four Nations face-off about to start, we're all in for one heck of a ride.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about the excitement and, the passion surrounding these international tournaments.
A lot to be excited about for sure.
But before we wrap things up, I want to shift gears for a second and look at the business side of things.
Okay, yeah, what about it?
How do these tournaments impact the NHL, financially?
That's a good question, actually. A lot of people probably don't think about that right away. But the truth is these tournaments can be huge for the league's bottom line.
Really? How so?
Well, think about the exposure. More international games means more eyeballs on the NHL.
I see what you mean. So more sponsorships, more broadcasting deals, that kind of thing.
Exactly, and that all translates to more revenue for the league.
So it's a win-win then.
Right.
Right. It's good for the fans and good for the NHL.
Yeah, pretty much. And it could even lead to a higher salary cap down the road.
Which would benefit the players.
Right. And it could also free up more money to invest in youth hockey programs and growing the game at the grassroots level.
Makes sense. So it's not just about the money either.
No, it's about creating a sustainable model for the future of hockey. Building a long-term strategy for growth.
That's awesome. So as we wrap up this deep dive, what's the main takeaway for our listeners today? What does all of this mean for the everyday hockey fan?
Well, I think the biggest thing is that we're going to see more best-on-best hockey more often.
More of those thrilling games.
Yeah.
More rivalries, more unforgettable moments.
It's about experiencing those moments with your friends and family, feeling that sense of community and national pride.
That's what it's all about.
Right.
And with this new era of international hockey upon us, those moments are only going to become even more special.
It's an exciting time to be a hockey fan, that's for sure.
We've covered a lot of ground today. The upcoming Four Nations face-off, the 2028 World Cup, and all the amazing things this new international calendar has in store for us. But now we want to hear from you. What international matchup are you most looking forward to? Head over to our social media pages and let us know your thoughts. We'd love to hear from you. And that's a wrap for this episode of The Deep Dive. Thanks for joining us, everyone.
See you next time.